Hello. This week's way to be a better human is inspired by being helpful. There are many ways we can be helpful, whether it's physically helping someone in the moment or preparing something to help you or another person later. Being helpful to someone can really change their mood in a positive way and make you feel better as well. Remember, what you put into the universe, you receive from the universe, so why not help someone today? Hello, boils and ghouls, and everyone creepy in between. This is another episode of the Average Ghost Mom podcast. Oh my goodness, my child. She is officially a first grader. Ugh. It seems like just a week ago I was dropping her off at daycare. Time flies, y'all. And as much as it's easy to, you know, kind of mark off the bad times, when they're annoying you and you just need a minute to come in and sit down and like de-stress from a day of work, but they just want to be all over you because they miss you. They want to be up your butt all the time. They want to help you cook. They want to help you clean. They want to help you do your taxes, even though they don't know what taxes are. Ugh, it's so easy to dismiss those moments, but like you gotta hold on to those as well. They're not our favorite. They're not what we want to remember of our children, but eventually you're gonna miss when your kids are up your butt all the time. Except for my mom, because I call her like all the time, and I'm sure she probably is like, Jesus Christ, kid, can you like leave me alone for a minute? You live like 13 hours away for a reason. Keep it that way. Oh my goodness. But no, she started school. We she is in the Montessori school here in Huntsville. Um she she likes her class. She likes her teachers. Um, on the second day of school, though, crazy enough, she got picked on already. And she gets in the car and she goes, huh. And I'm like, what's wrong? Because, like, I roll down my, like, when I pick her up and drop her off, I roll down my window every time. Because, especially when I drop her off, I'm passing her bags out to her. But when I pick her up, I expect her to give me her bag so she can get in the car easier. So I'm like, hey, Ava. Huh. Oh my. You've got an attitude. What's wrong? She goes, somebody tried to trick me today. And I'm like, okay, what do you mean? And she said that that there were two kids who came up to her and that they said, "Oh, if you give me a hug, I'll give you a piece of candy." But I know that they're trying to trick me. And me as an adult, no, I mean, I understand as well that they don't have any candy because there's no candy allowed at the school. So, and it's made very clear in the handbook, no sweets, no sugary things, no candy. So, they more than likely don't have candy on them, even if they were being truthful. Um, and I said, okay. And she goes, and I was doing math and they were distracting me. So then I got off count. And I said, okay. Well, did you try to follow your 6 steps to solving a problem? She goes, yeah. I said, did you try to ignore them first? She said, yeah. I said, did you try to go to a different area of the room? She said, yep. I said, and they followed you? And she said, yeah. I said, and you tried to tell them to please stop a couple times? She goes, mm-hmm. And I said, and then did you get a teacher involved? She goes, well, I was about to go get a teacher involved, but then the teacher walked up and told them to stop. I said, oh. So, to me, that tells me that the teacher was probably watching the whole situation and gave Ava the ability to try to stop the problem from her end, and equally tried to give the kid some time to quit messing around, messing with my kid, before she stepped in. So, later, a couple days later, which I'm such an asshole. I mean, that was day 2, right? And I had assumed that it was 2 little boys, okay? and the first grade lesson was on Friday, which I'll get into that. But I had assumed it was two boys. Okay. At Friday, I was at the school for this great big lesson, for this first great lesson, and I kind of was surveying the classroom, and I was like, I bet it's one of those four kids. Because, like, that kid's got a mullet. That kid, his eyes are just too far apart, and his nose is weird. His ears are sticking out. But those two kids have some, like, fuckboy haircuts for being little kids. I bet it's one of those fuckers. Well, Saturday, I ask her, I'm like, hey, if you see one of those little boys, point them out to me, right? And she's like, they were two girls, Mom. And I was like, what? Two girls picking on you? What? Oh my god. Call me an asshole for assuming it was a boy picking on her. But also, what the heck? Why are girls picking on girls? Supposed to have girl power up in here. Ugh, jeez. But it was an older girl. It was two older girls. It was a 7 and 8 year old. Because Ava's class is made up of first, second, and third graders. So that's one way how Montessori is different from public school is they don't have a room full of all first graders. It's a room like her class is first, second, and third. Like she's in lower elementary, which is first, second, and third, and they're all in one room. So it was two older kids that picked on her, two older girls. I could not believe it. But anyway, um, Friday of her first day of school was the first Spirit Night. And Spirit Night is when a school partners with a restaurant. And generally, it's a couple different restaurants or various restaurants around the area. But they partner with them, and then like a certain percentage of the proceeds of the meals bought that night, as long as the parents say, "Oh, hey, I'm here with the school or for the school," a certain percentage of the money will go to the school. So we went to Urban Cookhouse, which I'd give them like a 7 out of 10 rating. The food was fantastic. It was good. It's just it gives me more of like a lunch vibe than a dinner vibe. Um, let's see. I got the El Cubano sandwich. It was good. But it's definitely more of like a lunch sandwich more than a dinner sandwich. But sometimes I kind of feel like sandwiches are more lunchy anyways. But anyway, so I had the El Cubano and I had a side salad and I had a Dr. Pepper to drink. No, I didn't. I had a vitamin water to drink. That's what I had. No, Josh had Dr. Pepper. I had vitamin water. And Josh had a cowboy steak sandwich, which is kind of like their rendition of a Philly steak sandwich. And he also had a side salad. And then Ava had a chicken salad sandwich with a bowl of fruit. Yeah. And a chocolate milk. So, and then like 10% of our ticket proceeds of our bill went to the school. It was fun. And that's just like an easy way to help with to be able to like give back to the school, to support the school, and um I'll come back to it, but they were doing free bingo on Friday nights and Lord, I'll tell you all about that here in a little bit. So we went to Spirit Night, and then Saturday was the back to school picnic, which I guess they usually do that before school starts, but because so they had two campuses, the school. They had the Hampton Cove campus and they had the South Huntsville campus, but they combined onto one campus, onto the South Huntsville campus. So, like the whole summer, they were going through and they were packing up all the old campus stuff and moving it to the new campus, but they had to build two new buildings for the new campus because the original building isn't big enough for all the different classes. Um, so they had to tear down some of the playgrounds to put two new buildings, and that's where one of Ava's classrooms is one of the new buildings. And yeah, so they've been a little busy, and they have some new people, and it's not, I would not say it's been a clusterfuck. It's just been super duper busy. So understandable that they couldn't get the back to school picnic planned for the Saturday before school started, but they did it for the Saturday after school started. And they had Happy Pappy's beignet truck come. And that was so fun. They're like these little mini beignets, and we got like a little plate of 5. It was just Ava and I who went. Um, and she's never had a beignet before. I don't think she's had a beignet before. I don't quote me on it. I don't think she's had a beignet before. So we get our beignets and we go find a place to sit at the playground, and we're sitting under a tree in the shade and eating, and you know, powdered sugar is kind of flying everywhere because we have to eat outside. But it was fun. It was cool. I got to kind of see the main building again, because that's where we had our family interview to see if we'd be a good fit and could get accepted into the school even. Um, the main building is mainly primary and toddler kids, and oh, not primary. Primary is toddler, and then it's got the daycare. So it's for all the little people, and 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 then I we went into her building, into her classroom, and I got to see kind of more in depth the classroom materials and like where she goes, what she does, you know. And there's not assigned seating, and there's not very much seating. Like, there's enough for every kid to have a seat, but it's not like that's the only place to sit. Like, they do get a lot of sitting on the ground time. So, one classroom, because she has like 2 classrooms, she has her main classroom and then the secondary, and they split the class in half. So, half of the kids, one side is their main, and the other side is their secondary, and it's reversed for the other half of the class. And um both sides have like a math corner, both sides have like uh it's not English, language arts, that's what it is. Both sides have a language arts corner. um I think one side has more of the science and geography stuff, and the other side has the library area for them. um but they have a pet axolotl, and her name is Selena, and she's a cute little black axolotl. um and Ava was just showing me like all this stuff, and they already did a whole bunch of art projects, and she uh she showed me, they drew little people, which Ava said that the little person was me. She drew the person to look like me instead of herself because, quote unquote, she just doesn't want to miss me while she's in the classroom away from me for 7 hours a day. Bless her heart. Um, and these people that they drew, they're peeking out of a little pea pod. And everybody has their own little person peeking out of a pea pod. And it's kind of supposed to be like, oh, we're all peas in a pod, you know? Like the whole, we're all one great big classroom family, haha. Not, apparently. Um, they drew with chalk on paper, and Ava drew a world. She drew Earth, and then she drew a spaceship, a rainbow, and some stars. And it's very interesting because when I think of a spaceship, I think of, any spaceship that I've seen in movies, like which is like the main, that's got the main huge tube, you know, and it's got the 2 rocket propellers on each side, and it's got the fins on the top and the bottom. It's kind of like a plane, but not. When I think of a spaceship, that's what I think of. But here in Huntsville, we have the Rocket Space Center, okay? And it has a ginormous rocket ship out front. I encourage you, if you're listening, to just pause me for a second and just look up Huntsville Rocket Space Center, and surely there's going to be a picture of this giant rocket ship that's out front. And like, you and me, as experienced adult humans, know rockets come in many different shapes and sizes depending on what the mission is. And it didn't occur to me until I saw the picture of her rocket that she's only ever seen one rocket ship in her life, and that's the one outside of the Huntsville Center, like the big, ginormous, tall one. Now, there is the rocket ship that I think of when I think of a rocket ship that's also in the lawn of the Rocket Space Center. Um, but when we're coming into town from like Daddy's house or Nat Nat's house, and we're like, oh, there's the rocket ship. That huge tall thing is what she thinks of. That's the only thing that she knows as a rocket ship, and so that's what she drew on the paper. And when we showed Grandma, she was like, "Oh, is that a person?" And she's like, "No, Grandma, it's a rocket ship." And we're like, "Oh, that makes sense because that's the only rocket ship that you know of." And honestly, it potentially could be mistaken for a woman's massager tool. Wink, wink. Do you get what I'm saying? It potentially, if you were just given this picture of a rocket ship that she drew cut out, you potentially could look at that and say, oh, why does your child know what a woman's massager is? And then I would have to tell you, nope, that's a rocket ship. And then you'd see, oh, you know what? That is a rocket ship. You're not wrong. Uh, um, I'll post a picture of it on Instagram. So by the time that you guys hear this episode, it'll already be posted and you'll be like, huh? So, and then you'll hear this episode and you'll go, oh, the rocket ship. Yeah. So it was so funny. I was like, I looked at it and I was like, is that a French fry? Like, what? She's like, it's a rocket ship, mommy. And I'm like, obviously. Duh. Cheese, where was I at? Um anyway, yeah. So she did that with chalk, and oh my gosh, I hope that they don't bring those home because she drew on another piece of paper with chalk, and because it's chalk only sticks to sidewalk a little well-ish, but chalk is all dusty, and so she got green chalk dust all inside of her Montessori backpack and all on her lunchbox, and I had to wash it, except it didn't come out. It just embedded it further into the fabric, and so now it's just stained green. So, that's cool. Anyway, what else? What else? What else did I see? She drew those. Um, yeah, and I think that's it. I kind of got to meet her teachers a little more. She has two main teachers, and then she's got like a couple like helper teachers in the classroom. So it was cool. It was cool. Oh, so after we were done eating our beignets, we went straight to her classroom because we also needed to wash our hands from all the powdered sugar, right? And we go in, we're washing our hands, and then we're about to exit the bathroom, and she kind of closes the door and is on the outside. We're outside the bathroom, but there's a pencil on a string tied to the door handle. And she picks it up and she looks at me and she says, Mommy, we have to write our name on the bathroom list. And I was like, no, I don't think we have to. She goes, yeah, we do. It's the rules. Luckily, one of her teachers right there. She's like, oh no, Ava, you don't have to do that today. It's okay. And I'm like, yeah, not on the weekends. Duh. But she was like, no, mommy, we have to. It's the rules. We have to write our name on the bathroom list. Like, she's so fun. I love her. Um, but let me talk about this great lesson. That was so cool, right? So, um, so they have 5 great lessons in a year, and I expect that it's the same 5. Um, so this first great lesson is one of the coolest ones, the teacher said. The teachers say, we encourage parents to come to this first great lesson. It's so cool. It's so immersive. Um, and then like the next 3 aren't as cool and great and as immersive. But then like the last one, we might decide to invite parents to again because it's cool. But this first one is the coolest. And the first one is about the Big Bang and how the Earth was formed. And then it kind of takes off into some science laws from there. But um, we get there, we park, we go up, and like the first thing the kids do when they come in is they need to sit down quietly and read. And if they can't read yet, at least just look at the pictures, but you need to come sit down and be quiet, okay? And so sit down, she's looking through a book or whatever, and everyone gets there and we start the day. And apparently on the first week, another art project that they had already worked on, crazy, was they I think it was the Iroquois Native Americans. They printed out their story of how the earth and the world was made. And then each kid got a page and had to illustrate the words that were on the page. So they had to make an illustration that matched what was being talked about in that on that page of the book. And then they gathered up all the pages and they put it into a binder and they made it into a book. So on Friday, for the beginning of the first great lesson, we're all in there and one of the teachers says, "Hey, I'm going to read this book that the kids all illustrated." And it was so cool to get to see, like, some kids have some crazy awesome imaginations. Like there was a something about like some monsters or whatever, and like whoever kid it was who drew it, they did like, I could see where they were going for. Like granted, it's only a first, second, or third grader, so like their art skills aren't up there, but I could see what was going through their head when they were talking about the monsters, right? And there's another part where like the brother and the sister started fighting and whoever drew it, he drew like an 8-pack on the brother. The brother was shirtless for some reason, beating up his sister. And he had like a freaking like Jacob Black from Twilight 6 8-pack, 6-pack, whatever. And I was like, "Oh, okay. All right." Um but the Iroquois, I think it's the Iroquois. I could be wrong. I think it starts with a vowel though. Um, but the Native Americans, their story was about how basically, I honestly I kind of stopped listening in the middle because like Ava's picture came and I was just like so like awestruck by like, oh my god, that's my kid's photo and everybody, not photo but picture, and everybody gets to see it just like me gets to see everybody else. And then that's when I started scanning the classroom for who I thought the boys were that might have been picking on her on the second day. So I listened to the beginning and then I listened to the end and I did not catch the middle part except for when the brother was beating up the sister. Because there was like the 8-pack that suddenly was like, "Whoa, what?" Earth to Kristana, but um the beginning was about how there was a man and a woman and they loved each other, and the woman was like, "Whoa, I'm pregnant. I'm going to give birth to some twins." And the husband, the dad, was like pissed about it cuz he's like, "Well, I'm not going to share my wife with these freaking kids. I didn't ask for these kids. I don't want to have to share her attention and her love." And so the woman bore the kids and then the man, the husband, cast them away. To which then, like, I think the kids represented like the earth and the sky or something. Like the brother was like mad and pissed that they were cast away. And so he was like all the bad things. But then, oh my god, please do not tell me that's a spider. Hold. Um, well, I'm going to pretend that I didn't see anything because that's on the opposite side of my closet. And I am going to turn back and look away. Anyway, the brother is um he's pissed that his dad did not want him and cast him away, and so the brother represents like all of the bad, negative, evil things in the world. And the sister was like, "Well, hey, that's okay. We're gonna make this world together, and we're gonna bring so much happiness that they'll want to take us back or something like that." And so she has all the good things, and so like the brother, he made like cactuses with needles and they're sharp and pointy. But the sister added the flowers to them to make them pretty and made them capable of being eaten and filling with water. And like, oh, the brother um made these monsters, blah blah blah. But the sister cast them down below in a dungeon so that way they wouldn't get anybody. And like, oh, the brother, he made volcanoes because he's mad. Bleh. But the sister made the ocean so that way when the lava would spew, it would just go into the ocean and not hurt anybody. Like things kind of like that. Good and bad with making the earth, basically, right? But then I think at one point, I think in the middle of like the brother's just so pissed at the sister that he just grabs her and starts beating her. And then I don't really know how it ends, but either way, yeah, that was that. um, so then after the teacher got done reading the book, um, he was like, okay, like we're gonna have the kids like line up and kind of quiet back down, and then we're gonna have the adults line up outside so we can like tell the kids what's going on and stuff. And so what they did, how they have it set up is so it's two classrooms in one building, and they have a door that can close off each classroom. And so we were all in the one classroom, and they were getting the other classroom ready for this great lesson. And what they did is they taped up trash bags over the windows to blacken everything out, and they turned the temperature down pretty low, maybe to like 65. And they put on some interesting like drumming music or something. It's supposed to be like peaceful. And it is to simulate the dark, cold space, void of space before anything ever happened. So all the parents go in and they sit down in the chairs that are in kind of like a horseshoe shape around the outside of like the edge of the classroom. And then all the kids come in and they sit on the floor in the middle. And the teacher was like, okay, I'm going to tell you now. It's going to get dark. We're going to turn off the lights and we're going to be quiet, but it'll be okay because we are all right here and nothing scary or bad is going to happen. So we're like, okay. So they turned off the two lamps and blew out the candle because that's all that was in there when we first walked in. And the teacher kind of starts the story about the Big Bang and explaining how in the void of space it's so dark, darker than anything you can ever imagine, and it's so cold, colder than if your bed was made of ice, you know. And they got the room dark and cold to simulate space, and it was very cool. It was very cold, actually. And she goes, and she was talking about like the particles and yada yada, and then it imploded, and that was the Big Bang. And so to simulate the Big Bang, let me tell you, none of us were ready for this. She had a teacher stand by the light switches, and in the dark, she grabs a dictionary and slams it on the table in front of her. And as soon as she slams it, the teacher flickers the light really fast to simulate the Big Bang, because, when molecules come together like that, when particles and atoms come together that quickly and implode or whatever, there is a noise and there is a light because chemistry and science says so. So the Big Bang is a big crash and the lights, and we were like, whoa, was not prepared for that. And then she turned the lights on and continued to talk about different laws of science like gravity, how gravity works, and about an object in motion will stay in motion until acted upon with equal or greater force, and an object not in motion will not stay in motion or will stay still until acted upon with a force. She talked about the the three different states of matter, solid, liquid, and gas. Now, of course, to first, second, and third graders, she's not going to bring up plasma, but secretly in my head, I was like, well, three states of matter. There's four, but I get it. We won't get into plasma. They wouldn't understand that very well. Um, and also it was interesting. This part I did not like. I liked the least. She had a bowl of water, and to simulate the molecules being drawn to the larger molecules, like the smaller molecules being drawn to the larger molecules that are made up of smaller molecules. She stuck her hand in the water and then would like throw water droplets at us and like splash us. And this water was cold because it was sitting in a cold classroom in a cold metal bowl. So we're getting splashed with water as she's like flicking it on to us. And I'm like, stop that. I I don't want to be wet. You couldn't have found a different way to show small molecules being drawn to larger molecules. You have to spray us down with cold water? Good morning. It's not even 8:30 yet. Ugh. So, I didn't really like that part, but that was also personally speaking, and I know she just had a lesson she was trying to teach, whatever. And she was talking about like steam and ice and I don't know, a whole bunch of stuff. I ended up having to leave because I needed to get back home for work. But that was the gist of the first great lesson was the Big Bang. And it was so cool like how immersive it was with getting like the classroom like set up kind of like space. Uh, where's my drink? Hold on, let me find that really fast. What am I drinking today, you ask? Here it is. I'm drinking Bloom Pop because Poppy's going through a a legal battle right now, and Bloom Pop is not. Also, Bloom Pop just kind of they have some really cool flavors. So this one specifically, it's a prebiotic soda, by the way. Sorry. Um, this one is Shirley Temple flavored, and it tastes pretty good. They also have an orange soda flavor. They have a raspberry lemonade. They have watermelon lime, which we think the watermelon lime tastes more like a watermelon Laffy Taffy. Um, and oh gosh, they have a strawberry and cream one, and that one's pretty good. And then I thought they had one more. Um, I can't think of it. I can't think of it, but we we like Bloom for our prebiotic soda now in our house. And that's what I'm drinking. Hold on, I need to take a sip. Whew. Okay. I'm good. I'm great. I'm back again. So, yeah, that was really cool coming to her classroom on that Friday and getting to see that and whatnot. Um, moving on. Wednesdays is pizza day, and Ava loves pizza, which segues me into the fact that she has chosen her own lunches. Her and I made a list. We made a list of like all the different food groups of things that she likes. Excuse me. And we made a list of like proteins, carbs, fruits and vegetables, and dairy. Yeah. And so the Friday night or Saturday before we go grocery shopping, I say, okay, what do you want? Let's pick. Let's look at the list. And we pick out what she's going to have for lunch. Well, she picks out what she's going to have for lunch, and then she helps me go grocery shopping for it. And then Sunday before bed, we quickly put together her lunches. We pack them and then we put them in the fridge. And so her first week, she did turkey slices, cube cheese, strawberries, a salad, and then she did a croissant and two deviled eggs. And for the whole first week, she ate all of her food every single time. And I'm so proud of her because she didn't even do that in kindergarten. There was always something, or she ate most of it, but not all of it, you know? There's always a little bit of food that always came back in kindergarten, most of the time. So I'm very proud of her for choosing her food and then eating all of the food that she chose. And then for this second week, we still had, a whole bunch of turkey left over, so we did turkey slices and cheese cubes again. I think the fruit is always going to be strawberries. It's going to be strawberries until strawberries are like not stocked at Aldi, basically. She loves strawberries. So strawberries again, and she loves side salad. It's a super easy vegetable. So she basically I put the salad in the bowl because I just get a salad kit. Those are super easy. Everything's already portioned out. You just throw it all in there, mix it up, and you're good to go. So I put the salad in the bowl, but she put in everything else, then she mixed it up, and then I did like the very last mix because she's not good at like getting the bottom corners of the bowl. Oh my god, Christina, a bowl doesn't have corners. I know. I know. Okay? I don't mean like a corner like in a square. I mean like the bowl has a flat bottom, okay? And the salad, the cabbage gets stuck in that corner crevice where the side of the bowl meets the bottom of the bowl, okay? Quit dicking around. So I gotta get up all this salad and cabbage and crap from the corner of the bowl and mix it in better. But she did most of the mixing. She did a pretty good job. And she knows how to prepare her own strawberries. I rinse them off and then I pull off the strawberry greens, the tops. But she cuts off like the top of the strawberry and then she cuts the part that you eat into 4 pieces. Um, so I give her a butter knife and a cutting board, and she knows what to do. She knows how to prep, and she's very careful to not cut herself. But that's also why I give her a butter knife. Now, in the words of my mother, no, I know a butter knife can still cut you, Mom. It's okay, I know, but it's not gonna cut you like a paring knife might cut you, okay? And I already get on to her to be careful and to make sure she's not gonna cut her fingers or scrape her fingers with a butter knife, and she's very careful. So far we're good, Mom. She's not cut herself with a butter knife yet. Um, she counts out her 3 pieces of turkey meat. She counts out her 6 cubes of cheese and puts them in the compartments of her lunchbox. And then all I've ever had to really do is the eggs. The first week we did deviled eggs, and I was like, yeah, no, we're not doing that again. The second week we did egg salad, which literally is the same thing as a deviled egg. It's just instead of putting the yolk mixture back into a whole white egg part, you just cut the whites up and throw it in with the yolk. So after she saw that that was the process and it's the same thing, she was fine with it. And so I did all that. I cook the eggs, peel the eggs, mix everything up, you know. Um so I put that in her lunchbox, and then the second week she wanted peppercini, not peppercini. I'm sorry, banana peppers, which sometimes we call banana pickles. But she loves banana peppers, so she wanted some banana peppers in her lunch this week, and then she put the croissant in the box as well. So she basically did everything, and I just took care of the eggs. So, because she loves deviled eggs. Because oh God, Mom, we have to save these 4 for the whole week, and you have to make us so much. And I ate a dozen and a half in 4 days. So, yes, she's had some sort of cooked egg, some sort of hard boiled, prepared egg every day, every school day so far, except for Wednesdays, because Wednesdays is pizza day. But, yeah, no, I'm so proud of her. And, like, also, I feel like that gives her some, um, giving her the ability to make this decision and for her to feel confident in her decision and then enjoy like getting to reap the benefits of making this decision as well. And then her having the freedom to get to prepare her own lunch as well. It's just there's just all sorts of goodness going on right there. There's just all sorts of like great things going on with that. So, very very happy that she enjoys doing this. Um cuz hopefully this will lead her into preparing, being able to help me with preparing like for dinners a little better, a little more independent. And then maybe one day I can just get the egg salad prepared, throughout the day, and then she can put together her whole lunch by herself, you know? That'd be cool. Let's see. Something else with Montessori schools, they have seminars throughout the year for the adults, for the parents, and they just kind of they're different teachers that teach at the school going over different aspects of the schools. Like the first one that's coming up that I'm going to go to is about child study, and that's just about how to help children emotionally. It's about understanding children's emotions and why they feel what they feel, learning to talk to them, learning to communicate to them in a way that is effective for them, and also helping teach them how to communicate to us as adults that's effective for us. And, like, why do some children lash out how they do, or why do they act the way they do, and there's a it's being presented by one of the counselors that, okay, she's not technically a counselor, but to compare it to public school, she's basically a counselor, but she's like an emotional counselor, right? So she just kind of comes in and helps, like if a child is acting out consistently, kind of like, well, hey, buddy, like, let's sit down and talk. Like, what's going on? Like, why do we keep acting out like this? Or however she goes about it. But anyway, it's called child study. It's studying the child, right? And that's something that they do at Montessori that they keep track of. And it's which is much easier to do with such a small school. So that's being hosted by her, and I'm really excited to go. Like, I'm very intrigued about what exactly this is because I could be totally wrong. I don't think I'm totally wrong because they introduced her to us when we went to the meet the teacher day for the parents, meet the teacher meeting for the parents. I don't think I'm entirely off, but I also don't think I'm entirely right either. And so I'm very intrigued to go to this meeting and to just get to learn about what this position is and what this position does. And then I also assume it'll kind of tell us like who she is, because I don't know how long that she's been at this school. I don't, and like what if in like 2 years we get a new person, and well, I'll go to that one too to see, are they doing the exact same thing, or are they bringing in like new materials and new ideas and new ways on how to do whatever the heck they do? There's also ones on like just talking about the different like education levels. So there's seminars on the daycare, there's seminars on the toddler, there's seminars on the preschool, there's a seminar on the lower elementary, and then there's upper elementary, and then there's adolescent, or maybe it's young adolescent, I don't know. But Montessori goes from daycare to 8th grade. So lower L is first, second, and third. Upper L is fourth, fifth, and sixth, I think. And then the adolescent is 7 and 8. So 7 and 8 is kind of when you're getting into. I mean, you're already starting to get into being more independent and driven, and having discipline yourself to know what you need to get done when you're in the upper L, at least the upper L. But then adolescent, they're kind of, it's not that they're all on their own. They have guidance, but like they're very disciplined in, okay, like I've got to do ABC and we're gonna get it done, and then I'm good to go. Oh, or like, oh, I need help with this, so I'm gonna, find somebody who can help me understand this. They're very self driven, which is awesome. But I'm definitely, I don't really care about the daycare, toddler, and like the pre-K because Ava's not in those, but she's in lower L, so I'm definitely gonna go to that one. And I'm probably gonna go to all of the upper ones, upper L, um, and then adolescent. I'm definitely intrigued about to see like, well, what's in store. Like, if she does well enough and we can continue to afford and this works for her, like she's gonna stay in the school. And so, what do we have to look forward to? Slash, well, what if someone comes to me and is interested in putting their kid in Montessori? I want to be able to help give them some personal guidance about, like, oh, like, this is what it is, this is what they do. It's not fit for everybody, for sure. Like, some kids need more structure than how Montessori is structured, a more systematic structure. But if given the opportunity, I would say see how well your kid does in like a looser structure. But anyway, so they have some seminars, and some of them are in person at the school, some of them are e-seminars, and I'm just super pumped to get more information, to learn more, you know. I want to be as involved as I can to a certain degree. And they have different committees because, like like any other private school, there is volunteer time that the parents have to put in. And one way to do that is to be on a committee. And there's a couple different kinds of committees, but the one that I'm most interested in is building and groundskeeping committee. And that's just literally like going and pulling weeds and planting things and then helping be in charge of like the plant sale that happens in the spring. And like, I don't know what the grounds part is. It maybe just washing the building or what. I don't know. But I can go on a Saturday and do whatever the heck they need me to do, you know? So I'm I think that's gonna be the best committee for me. And it's a way to like I'm not just putting in my 15 hours and then like, okay, sayonara, see you. You know, like I'll be there for the whole school year doing stuff and I get to be a little more involved and maybe some things trickle down the grapevine and I get to be some of the first people in the know about certain things going on with the school, you know? I don't know. That's just that's what I got on that. But let me circle back to a couple things. First of all, left field. All right. We're going to Top Golf this weekend, and we get to bring Ava with us. Josh's boss is throwing a little family company party because his company only has like 3 employees. So, and 2 of them are of his own blood and descendants. 2 of them are his family, and then there's Josh. Okay, so we get to come to Top Golf and we're gonna bring Ava. We get to bring Ava this time, and she's never gone to Top Golf before, so I'm really excited. I showed her a video about what Top Golf is, and she seems very intrigued. Um, she uh, she liked going golfing with Aunt Andrea over the summer, and I said, "Baby, that wasn't golfing. That was putt putting. That was mini golf. This is like big person golf, except you don't move. You just go up to the green, hit the ball, and come back to the table. You don't have to go chase the ball around a whole golf field, you know?" Is it called a golf field? Is it called a golf field? Golf course. Oh my gosh. Golf course, not golf field. I'm so look, y'all know how it is around these parts. Okay? Don't be judging me today. But yeah, she seems intrigued. So I'm excited to get to have this experience with her on Friday, but getting to the bigger topic on hand, bingo. Literally bingo. I'm talking like B1 N36 075 bingo. So she did bingo at the family reunion and she absolutely loved it. She was like, "Mom, I want let's do bingo all the time." And I'm like, uh oh, okay." And Friday night at Spirit Night, they were having free bingo and she was like, "Mom." And I'm like, "Okay, okay, okay." So we played 2 rounds. She didn't win anything that time, but it's okay. It only would have been like a $5 gift card to the restaurant anyway, so I wasn't really upset that we didn't win anything. But she had fun. And the bingo at family reunion was with reusable cards and it's just a little red slidey thing that you go over your numbers and whatever. And this at the restaurant was paper bingo cards with the marker daughter thing, And she was like, whoa. She was like amazed that this was another way, like physical way to play bingo. And so Saturday we went on a little shopping spree and I found her a bingo game. We first went to Barnes and Noble. Well, okay, this was Saturday after the picnic. So after the picnic we went to Barnes and Noble. I got her a new workbook. Got her a first grade workbook. And then we went to Five Below, and that's where I found the bingo game. And I don't think she remembers that we got it because she hasn't brought up playing bingo yet, but I got it all put together and she's going to be so psyched. And then we went over to Home Goods, which Home Goods is right next to Target, and our Target had a bulldozer run through it. Oh, not a bulldozer, a dump truck run into the front of it. Um, the driver claimed it was a brake malfunction, a brake fail, but but I don't know, he's being put on trial for like other driving misdemeanors or something. I don't know. All I know is the front of Target is still effed up and they have all these like construction fences put up and whatever. So like on our way to Home Goods, And it's all one big strip, right? It's like a large parking lot and it's kind of just like an outdoor strip of all these different stores. So Barnes and Noble, Five Below, Home Goods, and Target are all right next to each other on this strip. So we're walking to Home Goods from Five Below, and she sees all the Target mayhem, and she goes, "No, we can't go into Target." And I'm like, "What? What? Yes? What do you mean? Why can't we?" She's like, because that 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 truck ran into it. We can't go in." And she starts having a meltdown outside of Home Goods because she doesn't realize that the doors are on either side of this construction area. Because it's a fairly large Target. I mean, what Targets aren't really big anymore these days, but this one, like the doors are on the opposite end and it's so far away. And this truck hit right in the middle of it. So both doors are accessible with no issues, right? Um, she doesn't see that. She doesn't realize the doors are as close as they are to us. And she's having a meltdown because we can't go to Target because Target's broken. And I'm like, Ava, please stop, stop. Look, do you see those people? They're about to go into Target. Look, watch them. Boom, they're in Target. Those are the doors we're gonna go in, dude. She's like, oh, oh, we can go in? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, we can get a pink drink still? And I said, yeah. She goes, oh, thank goodness. I'm like, okay. So we go into Home Goods because I'm looking for like a table or something. Which, by the way, that was a terrible choice to go into Home Goods to look for a little table because the only thing that I found that I liked that was going to be what I needed it for was like $100. And I'm like, I'm not paying $100 for that thing. No. But we go in and, Halloween and autumn and fall are coming into the stores right now. And we walk in, there's so much Halloween stuff. And she has another meltdown, piggybacking off of her first one, because I told her we're not buying any of the Halloween stuff. And like to her knowledge, we're every store we go into, we're gonna buy something. So the fact that mommy just took me into the store and said we're not buying something that I want, no ma'am. She's still learning to come to terms that she doesn't always get what she wants and she has to learn to be okay with that. And it's very hard as a single child when all you've ever gotten was everything you ever wanted to be told no. So that's a battle that we are learning how to deal with right now is like she needs to learn to accept no and there's a reason why because we don't just say no just because I'm the parent and I say so. We don't just say no you know, because dot dot dot. We say no for a reason. And we're not going to buy any of this Halloween stuff because we don't need any of this Halloween stuff and also our money needs to be put to something better than a Halloween sparkly bat pillow. So I get her calm down. We leave the store. We go to Target. We get a pink drink. And what did I get at Target? We got oh, we got she had some money from her allowance, and so she got herself a new Barbie. And this Barbie is so cool because it's like her Nat Nat. And this Barbie has a mommy dog that gives birth to 3 puppies. And that's like what Nat Nat did. Nat Nat had a dog that gave birth to puppies, and so she was like, "Mom, we have to get it." And I'm like, "Okay, well, you have money allowance, you have allowance money, and sure, that's fine, we can get it." She's like, "Yes." I'm like, "Yeah." And then we go to the game section, and I go to the kids game section because like we have a lot of games, but they're all Josh's games, and Josh when he does not have any kids, so he never had to get games that was kid friendly. And so we don't have any like kid friendly games. And so I'm like, let's see if we can find a game that's kid friendly. And I found a Disney Princess 3-in-1 game. It has matching, it has dominoes, and holy moly, it's got bingo. So now we have 2 bingo games. And I don't know what to do about that. But it is a thing and it is in my house. And I don't think my child remembers about that either because she hasn't asked about the Disney Princess game. So we'll see. But what else? We got a she got her Barbie, we got the game, she got a new loofah because hers somehow is ripping. Um, we got a couple new bath toys, maybe, perhaps. I don't know. I can't think of what we got. Maybe it'll come to me later. Maybe it'll come to me for next episode what I got. I don't know, but I know that's one thing. That's a couple things we got. But either way, we have Bingo, and in the moment of purchasing Bingo, she was psyched as hell. And since then, she's forgotten that we have Bingo. Hold on, I need to take a drink again. Ugh. I could I could feel the dry cotton ball creeping up my throat slowly. Anyway, yeah, she hasn't asked about Bingo at all for the past 4 days. So hopefully she won't completely forget about it. But I think we'll probably play bingo tomorrow night. I think we'll have a bingo night tomorrow night. Um, I think that'd be fun. So yeah, that's what I got. That's all I got for you. Just a little update on my life, because it's my blogcast. If there's any other family friendly kid games that you guys have that would be appropriate for a 6-year old or first grader, um, share them with me. I'd love to see if we can find some of these. I didn't really feel like Target had a good selection, but if there's something that you know of, send it my way. Oh, wait, wait. Some Targets are built differently. You know what? I'm getting off topic. I need to wrap this up. I'm so sorry, guys. Either way, if you guys have some games that are family friendly for a first grader, send them to me. You can email me at averageghostmom@gmail.com. Send them to me on TikTok. Also, I've been posting on TikTok. You guys should totally go check that out because also I wanted to go live on TikTok the other day while Ava and I were making her lunch, and I couldn't because I don't have 50 followers yet. I only have 26 right now. So my goal is at minimum to get to 50 followers so Ava and I can go live because Ava doesn't really like to make videos when it comes to cooking. Like, she just wants to cook the food. But if we can go live, then sometimes, I mean, she just talks away. That's all she wants to do. Really, she wants her own blogcast, but excuse me, obviously I don't let her, so that's why we make the mini vlogs on the Average Ghost Mom TikTok. And she just wants to talk, 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 talk. That's all she wants to do. Trust me. Y'all ask my mother and ask Nat Nat. She will talk your ear off about nothing. She is a pro at it. So if you all could help me get me up to 50 followers on that page so that way we can start doing lives, and then Ava can just TikTok away and y'all can hop in, ask questions. It'd be really fun for her to get to just talk, and because she loves talking in case I haven't gotten that point around yet. So anyway, I love you guys so much. Thank you for everything that you're doing. Also, on a not podcast. Well, it's not iTunes anymore. On Apple Podcasts, if you could rate and leave a comment, preferably a good comment. I need some good comments first before I have bad comments and reviews. But if you could rate me on podcasts, that would help. Rate me on Spotify, leave reviews on Spotify, leave me comments on YouTube. I want to hear from you guys. I need some feedback. Like, are you guys okay with what I'm saying? Do you like it? Do you want to keep hearing it? Is there certain subjects that you want me to talk about more, or maybe certain subjects you want me to talk about less? Like, I need some feedback from you guys. So let me know. But either way, I love you, and I will talk with you guys later. Bye.